Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. So, first of all, I want to say welcome to every single person out there. You know who has been listening to me a lot aside from people in America? Singapore and Japan. What's up, Singapore? What's up, Japan? You guys are like going bananas on my podcast, and I freaking love it. Thank you, honestly. Again, I always sound so boring and so generic because all I say is thank you very much, but I don't know what else to say that conveys how genuinely grateful I am. I am truly grateful. I am appreciative of every single person, no matter what country you're in, no matter what size and shape you are, no matter what gender you are, no matter your political affiliation, no matter your religious beliefs. Everybody is welcome here. I just don't like assholes. That's all. Assholes come in all shapes and sizes, all political backgrounds, all religious backgrounds. Assholes are equal opportunity. They come diverse. Assholes are diverse. So I don't want assholes. But on that note, I can be an asshole. And if you don't like assholes, I don't know if sometimes you might think the things. I'm not an asshole, by the way. At least I don't consider myself one. I suppose that's a matter of opinion. Some people might think I'm an asshole. That depends, I guess, on who you are. But I try not to be. That's not my goal. It's not my aspiration in life. But my point is, there are going to be things that I say that may irk some people, may rub people the wrong way and cause some friction, some static. And that's okay, though. I listen to people all the time that kind of rub me the wrong way because I feel like you're a more well-rounded person. You're a more educated person if you listen to people with different points of view. I mean, how can you form an opinion if you haven't heard the other side of the coin? You can't really, in my opinion, form an opinion if you haven't got all the information. I feel like that's the entire point of an opinion. I feel like the entire point of an opinion is that you have gathered information, you have gathered the knowledge from all over, from different sides, different points of view, and then you formed an opinion. I feel like you can obviously form an opinion when it's one-sided and you've only gotten, that's not really a word, when you've only received part of the information out there. There's so many ways you can gain knowledge. You know, we have the internet now. Back in my day, I know I hate when people say that, but seriously, back in my day, we had to go to the library and use the Dewey Decimal System. We had to look up things on little cards in the library and match that number. You know, we had to use the Dewey Decimal System. We had to use a card catalog and go find the book. And then we had to look through the book to find the information that we needed. Like, we had to actually physically research things, which means you had to have half of a brain cell because you at least had to know you had to write down that number and go find that book, hope that it wasn't checked out. Remember back when we had to check out movies and we would hope that it wasn't checked out? And if it was, we would sit there and wait around until maybe somebody brought it back. But now you have access to so much information, so there's really no excuse to be a dummy. I mean, not at least if you're going to make videos and podcasts and talk about things. I feel like if you're going to do that, you should form opinions based on having at least more information than just your side. I'm not saying you have to have all the knowledge because that's hard. It's hard to have all the knowledge. There's a lot of knowledge out there. There's a lot of information. But I don't think you should just have your side. That's kind of silly, right? In my opinion. And I got that opinion because I have seen all sides out there. And one thing I'm not going to do is look at I'm not going to say Dr. Fauci. I'm not going to call him doctor. But Fauci's in the news. Fauci's in the news because he single-handedly created, well, caused genocide. I think he is the most, one of, not the most, but one of, in my opinion, one of the most deplorable, disgusting, despicable, gross, horrible, lying, corrupt murderers on earth. I said murderer. I meant it. I think it. That's my opinion. I can't say that he is one because I'll get in trouble. So that's my opinion that he is a murderer. He has not been convicted of this. It is my opinion that he's a lying, subhuman sack of shit. That's my opinion. To me, he's proven to be those things. To me, he is 1,000% proven to be all of the above. But, you know, I'm not allowed to say that he is a murderer because he hasn't been convicted. And he never will be. That's what really, really, really irks me, is that he never will be. He will get away with all of the murdering that, in my opinion, allegedly, he has done. My mom and I were deeply affected by Fauci. Many, many thousands and thousands and thousands of people, millions of people, actually, millions. What am I talking about? Thousands. Millions of people were affected by this nut job, this sociopath. So I started this podcast so I could discuss what happened to my mom and I and my family and I during COVID. Because what happened disturbed me so deeply that I wanted to start this podcast. And it still disturbs me deeply, and that's why I still bring it up every now and then on my podcast. And now that Fauci is back in, having hearings, then I felt it was appropriate to talk about him again. Very relevant to what's going on today. I'm going to try to keep myself from getting too fired up, but I'm not going to make any guarantees. I'm going to try for myself, not for others. I'm not trying to conduct myself in a certain way so I don't offend people. I'm just trying to be an adult. But, so my mom was, we had to move her into an assisted living facility right at the height of COVID. So it was in 2020, and it was, it was in October of 2020. And my mom did not want to move, but unfortunately she absolutely could not care for herself. She was she was starting to get dementia, and she was on her own, and she made $300 too much to be able to have the state have someone come in and care for her. So she unfortunately had to sell the home that she lived in for 39 years, the home that my dad died in. Well, the person that I call my dad, he's not my biological dad, but I call him my dad. He's who I consider my biological dad. He is the only dad I've ever known. But, my father died there, and my mom had a beautiful view and a beautiful house, and she loved it and didn't want to give it up, nor should she shouldn't have had to. But unfortunately, my house was not at all conducive for somebody that had her needs. She had a walker, and she had had double hip surgery and could not go up and down stairs. And just getting into my house, there are stairs, and it was very difficult for her. And plus, she was getting dementia, and I had a full-time job. And I couldn't give up that job because, again, the state wasn't going to pay me to stay home with her. So I moved her to a city that was only half an hour from me, as opposed to her being 3 hours from me like she was. And unfortunately, like I said, it was during COVID, and I was kept away from her. And before she lost her memory, before she forgot my phone number, before she forgot how to use a phone, my mom tried to call me, and she would call me and tell me how scared she was. She would call me crying in just absolutely hysterical because she was scared to death to be alone. She didn't want to die alone. And I was being kept from her, from policies put in place by Biden and his administration. And everyone's like, oh, Trump was during COVID. Trump was during like 8 months of COVID. Okay. Biden was in charge of 3 years of COVID. Okay. 3 years as opposed to 8 or 9 months of Trump. So I don't want to hear this. No, Trump had everything to do with COVID. No, Trump had about 9 months to do with COVID. And then actually Biden and his cronies were in charge for 3 years. So I don't want to hear all of the crap. And it was Democrat policies, not Republican policies. It was Democrat policies that kept me and millions of others away from their loved ones. It was Democrat policies, not Trump, that kept everybody inside and away from their family members and had policies that made no sense whatsoever and were not backed by facts at all. And when anybody tried to release actual facts, like doctors, like other psychiatrists, like other scientists, people that know what the fuck they're talking about, when they were like, hey, by the way, there's other things we can do. This wearing masks, staying 6 feet away, staying inside thing, vaccine thing, let me give you some different information. And it is the media's job to give us information, to give us facts. It is not their job to babysit us. It's not their job to decide what is good or bad for us. And it's not their job to censor things. In fact, that's against our Constitution. You are not supposed to censor people. That's illegal. It's against the Constitution. And nobody was held accountable. But if that would have been Trump, let me fucking tell you, he would have been hung. He would have been hung. So it pisses me off because, again, hypocrites. The Democrats do all of these things. And then if Trump were to do any of them, a single one of these things, forcing vaccines, forcing healthcare, forcing masks, forcing Obamacare, forcing masks, forcing vaccines, forcing people to stay inside and having the National Guard. You guys, I love how people just forget. It's like they have temporary dementia. They just forget that there was National Guard to keep us inside. And we had to show proof of having vaccines. We had to have like a vaccine card. But people just conveniently forget that. I love how people conveniently forget things that go against them looking like a dickhole, them looking like a moron, them being wrong. God forbid people admit that they're wrong. Oh, no way. God forbid people admit they're wrong. Hell no, that's never going to fucking happen. They would rather murder all of us, unalive all of us, keep us all away from our families, keep our families dying and alone and scared, than fucking tell the truth, than admit that they're wrong. And then the media back in the day, they used to have to actually know what the fuck they're talking about. They put out facts. Remember facts? Do you remember what a fact is? Yeah, they used to have to tell only facts and give actual facts and information and tell the truth. And then it was up to us to decide what we were going to do with that. It was up to us grown-ass adults that pay taxes and have jobs and live on our own to make adult decisions, because you're not our fucking babysitter or our parents. You see, that is called being a terrorist, pretty much. When you are sitting there forcing everybody to stay inside and using the National Guard to do so, keeping everybody away from their dying loved ones, keeping dying people away from their loved ones, and forcing children to vaccinate and wear masks, forcing people to have no social life and stay inside and have to lose their jobs, lose their income, lose their source of income so they can't pay their bills. Small mom and pop businesses had to shut down and go bankrupt and couldn't pay their bills, while huge companies got bigger and bigger. And you guys sit there and talk about dictator and communism. Shut the entire front door. Slam that front door on your fucking face because you're a fucking idiot and you need some common sense knocked into you. Just hit your head a couple of times against a wall. It might make you less brain damaged than you are. Honestly. Who on earth just listens to stuff when it comes to injecting things into your body? Wouldn't you want to do some research on that? Wouldn't you want to hear what other doctors and other scientists and other psychiatrists have to say about vaccinations and masks and staying 6 feet away and being completely antisocial and closing everything down? Wouldn't you want to hear what other people have to say, not just one or two? Wouldn't you find it a little weird and question when the media and the president at the time and a certain political party refuses to give you all the information and keeps the information from you and then censors you, which again is against our Constitution? Censorship is unconstitutional. Wouldn't you question something that is unconstitutional? Wouldn't you wonder why they're keeping that from us? Instead, there are people that didn't question it at all, just filled themselves full of vaccination after vaccination. And every single fucking person I know that got the vaccination got COVID at least once. At least once. I know people that have had COVID numerous times. They had to be tested because they would have their jobs and stuff. Thankfully, sorry, hang on. Okay, I hope this works. I don't know if it started over, but it's just so frustrating that people don't do their homework and they just listen to one side, especially when it comes to their health and their family. It's bizarre to me. But Fauci deserves to die a slow, torturous, long, painful death, the way that my mom had to, because she didn't get the care that she deserves or needed. Because you see, caregivers were quitting or being fired because they were being forced to choose between their health and their beliefs and injecting themselves with a foreign substance that had not been around long enough to even know what the fuck was going to happen to them. They didn't know what the side effects were. They had no idea because it hadn't been around and it hadn't been tested. And they had to choose between that and their livelihood. So it was incredibly short-staffed. And my mom did not get the care, so she got severe UTIs all the time, which made her delusional. It made her see things and hear things. It made her hallucinate. Because especially when you're an older person and you already have health issues like my mom did, UTIs are a big fucking deal. And she had a catheter, you guys. She had a catheter. I could sue this place. I'm pretty sure the statute of limitations is out, but I could sue the shit out of them because they never cleaned my mom's catheter properly, and she never got to go to the urologist like she was supposed to because, you know, they couldn't find anybody to take her because she required, you couldn't just put her in a car. She had a catheter, she had a walker, it was hard for her. I couldn't really get her in and out of my car. I needed help, and I was working full time. And when I would try to make appointments, when I would finally get appointments and I would finally find rides and stuff for her, 7 times out of 10, they would cancel her appointments because there weren't enough staff. There wasn't enough staff. So the staff wasn't coming into work because, again, they were being told, hey, you have to do these things. And if you don't do these things, you're going to lose your job. And some people picked their values over their job. So things were short-staffed. And my mom didn't get the care she needed. And she got severe UTI, and my mom died of major septic. She was very septic. So septic that she died. And she died because of Democrats. I 1000% blame the Democrat Party. It's their fault. It's all their fault. Their policies are the reason that my mom and millions of other people died and died alone. I will never forgive them. And yet here they are, bitching about algae. You guys can't find a fucking thing to bitch about, so you bitch about algae. You bitch about supposedly not having the right to show your penis out in public, which you can do. And in Portland, you can not only show your penis, but you can show your vagina and your boobs. And large groups of people can do that out in public in front of children all the time. So you have special fucking treatment, but you're still gonna bitch about not being able to go into a bathroom or being able to participate in all women's sports because you're so fucking bored. You're so bored and you have so many rights and you're so entitled and you're such prima donna little wussies that you have to make up shit like algae to fucking bitch about. Meanwhile, you're trying to assassinate Trump 4 times. You assassinated Charlie Kirk. You go around assassinating, and you have doctors and nurses and med techs and caregivers getting on social media saying that they absolutely will, unalive, poison, or harm anybody that they find out is a Trump supporter. So now people can't even go to a doctor without being worried that they might die. You have riots going on for 10 fucking years where you are destroying buildings, burning down buildings, and you're not in jail for it, even though you've committed arson and you've destroyed buildings. Remember the Tesla buildings, remember the Tesla cars, remember all the riots during George Floyd and No Kings and just the thousands of riots that keep going on because Democrats promote violence and have been promoting the bullying and unaliving and poisoning and harming of anybody that disagrees with them. You get on social media and make thousands and thousands of videos and millions of comments talking about how Trump and Charlie Kirk deserve to die. And then when Charlie Kirk does get assassinated, you guys make videos rejoicing in it. And yet somehow you don't find anything that Fauci did or any of these things bad, but you find algae bad. Go fuck off in the biggest way. Take a double-ended, go fuck yourself sideways with something large. I said it, I meant it, not gonna apologize. Stand by it, will always stand by it. Think it's funny, hope you do it. Okay? I hope you actually do it. So go find yourself a big one with big girth, double-ended. Take care of it, okay? That's what I think. I've had it. Met my quota. I know that a lot of you are going to be totally turned off and you're like, oh my stars. Oh my. Did you hear what she said? She said to go get a double-ended and ourselves. Oh my God, can you believe it? Can you believe that you guys unalived tons of people? Can you believe that you guys forced vaccinations down people's throats while screaming, my body, my choice? Can you believe that you guys not only were excited when Charlie Kirk was unalived, but you rejoiced and made videos. You made reenactment videos of him being assassinated, and then you dressed up as his corpse. And you're going to say, can you believe that Courtney on her podcast told us to get a large double-ended and ourselves with it? Can you believe the audacity of her? Shut the front fucking door. Hard on your face. Shut it repeatedly in your own face. Because you're stupid. I did say it, I mean it, and I'll say it to your face because I mean it. Don't sit there and tell me I have the audacity to say or do anything when all of the crap that has been going on for 10 years has been violent after violent after violent after violent. And you guys promote it, you love it, and you encourage it. So you have no room to say a single word about me. And if you do, I don't care. Not even a little bit. That's not what I lose sleep over. Funny enough, my insomnia has nothing to do with what strangers think of me. Sorry, but no. Never ever in the history of ever will I give a shit what a stranger thinks of me. So if my podcast is too much for you, I get it. I understand completely. I warn people at the beginning of my podcast that it's probably not going to be for you. There's not a lot of people that can handle my podcast. So those of you that can, you're fucking badass. You are amazing. You're an adult. You are an adult. You are mature. You're tough. You are normal. And again, I don't always talk about politics. In fact, I did probably 8 podcasts where I didn't talk about, before this. I did like 1 or 2 podcasts before this one where I talked about politics. But like there was 8 in a row where I didn't say a word about politics. I did like 8 podcasts in a row consecutively that I didn't speak a word about politics. I didn't say a word about politics. Sometimes you're going to get politics, and sometimes when I talk about politics, I'm going to get fired up, and I'm going to say things that are going to offend a lot of people out there that are, well, immature and spineless and hypocrites. So I don't need those kind of people to listen to my podcast. Those of you that are clearly badass mofos, like I said. You know what life is like. You've lived life. You have a life. I think that people that listen to my podcast have a life, understand life. They've lived life. They've been through some shit. They can probably identify with what I'm saying, and they've been affected by COVID, and they've been affected by these things that I talk about. So thank you. Thank you to everybody out there that's been listening. And like I said, shout out to people in Japan and Singapore because you guys are like kicking ass listening to my podcast, and I appreciate it. I appreciate every person from every country. And if you're a Democrat, I have Democrat friends. We just don't talk about politics. And if we do talk about politics, we talk about it until we're both like annoyed, or if we're both annoyed, I can be friends and am friends with Democrats, with people with different points of view. I think people should be friends with people that have different points of view because, like I said, how do you learn? How do you form an opinion when all you have is just yours? I don't think that's an opinion when you've never looked at the other side of the coin. I think you need to be educated to form an opinion, but I guess apparently you don't have to. I guess I'm wrong. You don't have to be educated. I just wish people were. I wish people would take the time to see the other side of the coin before they form an opinion. I know the times that I haven't done that, I've looked like a real jackass and I feel stupid. Again, I don't think I'm perfect. I don't think anyone's perfect. I don't think Republicans are perfect. I don't think Trump is perfect. I don't think that America is perfect. But I love this country. I think our president is awesome. Flawed, but awesome. I think America is amazing, and we have some issues, some kinks to work out, but I think we're pretty fucking rad. And there are a lot of Democrats and liberals that I'm sure are amazing, lovely people. I know they are. I've met them. I'm around them. I have nothing whatsoever against Democrats and liberal people. Like I said, I have something against assholes. I have something against shitty people. Anyway, I can't tell you again how thankful I am that I do have people listening to this crazy podcast that I do talking into my phone. Yes, people, I'm talking into my iPhone, and then I upload my podcast right from my iPhone. So you're going to hear all the crap, like my stomach's growling really bad right now. You might hear it. You heard the floorboards squeaking while I was walking around pacing because that's part of why I use my phone. I pace while I'm walking, while I'm doing my podcast, while I'm talking. Oy, 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 oy vey. Anyway, I am thankful for life. I'm thankful for having the job that I do. I love my job. I love being able to hang out with animals all day. I love being able to care for them. I love being able to go outside and not have an office. That's pretty great. So I'm going to try to focus and end this podcast on being grateful, and that is grateful for you guys, grateful for this beautiful day, grateful for being alive, and then I'm going to take a break again from politics. I'm going to probably not take a break from politics. I'm probably going to continue to watch what's going on. However, I'll probably go back to maybe not discussing politics. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Again, if you don't like how fired up I get with politics, well, you can listen to a different episode. I have episodes on all kinds of topics, many topics. So if you don't like this one, I have others. You should check them out. I even have ones that have an intro and an outro. I used to have an intro and outro. I had intro music, outro music, and I need to get it back. Anyway, this is just a quick little podcast to say hello, and that Fauci better pay his dues. Karma better find him. Karma better find him and take care of things accordingly. So that's my opinion on that. Remember to control the things you can. Let go of the things you can't. Let it all go. Let go of the things that you're like, what am I going to do? If you don't have a solution, maybe put that on the back burner. Focus on the things you do have solutions for. Focus on your friends and family that are good and supportive. Sometimes you also have to let go of people in your life that are just damage, that cause you damage, that cause you harm and anxiety. As hard as it is, sometimes you have to let go of those people. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Until next time.